that means you don't really believe. This team has been in a ton of these games, man. And a few of these games, they've been up a couple of scores and, lost a tight one there a few times. And so they've been in most of these games, had a chance to win them. They're competitive. They play hard. It's a good unit. I know they made the change a week ago, but they had a chance last week again, in that game. So, defensively, big Dexter Lawrence, man, he's got a lot of respect for him, the way he plays. Big man, can cover ground, get edges, push the pocket, shut down the run. Good player, burns heat off the edge. I think a lot of it starts with those two players. And then, offensively, it's pretty gritty offensive line. They push on you, a lot of gap scheme downhill, like Tracy. I think he's a good back. He's crafty, man, stronger than he looks, very versatile. Robinson, he's another one, man. He'll sneak up on you and get open. He's explosive, and then it's really about the quarterback who plays, Dart, young, promising talent. See if he plays. If not, then it's Winston and know him. Played a lot of football here and big time arm, can see it, can read it, and he can hurt you. So, look, they got plenty of players. They play hard. They're competitive, and that's what we're facing.
It's been years since you suited up there, obviously, but as you go against this team, obviously you haven't played them since 22, but is there any sort of emotional connection at all by facing the organization where you learn so much as a player?
I don't know how much. It's always something that will be there, because so many of those, I think what really helps is, obviously Mr. Mayer is still there. And he was there when I was there. That was, and that Mayer family will always mean something to me. That's what the Giants are. But then there's so many that are in that organization that were there when I was there. They're still there, and that, I had 4 good years there and it felt like a family. Just really good people. So that'll always be there. And I always think of them in that way when it comes time to play them or you see them or any of that. So in that regard, that's cool to see them. But that's about as far as it goes.
What happened with Dable? Did you have any emotions? I know you were tight with him and that's part of the business, but just any emotions?
No, it's it's hard. It's just part of the business, and it's tough. It's a tough deal, but that's, it is what it is, and they get you move on, and those guys are trying to, get on to the next one just like we are.
You mentioned last week that we talked about, must-win games and such.
Mm-hmm.
After a loss like you had on Sunday, with the schedule getting shorter, you know who you're facing, some pretty good teams down the stretch here. Is there such a thing as almost a can't lose game or must not lose game versus a can't?
No, I don't. Look, I don't think any of that. I know this, and I hit the guys on this, and it's because I just want them, especially more now than ever, just worry about this one. Just, I know we've got, we'll have whatever this is. I know it'll be 2 games in 10 days. It'll be, 3 games in 17 days. I mean, we're going to get crunched here. And that's beside the point. Those teams are playing the same schedule we are. Green Bay coming on a short week, Dallas only 7 days later after that. So what's important is you just worry about what's in front of you. Like, we got to get another win, and we got to get back on our feet. We got to play better ball in all 3 units. And so really that is the focus. New York Giants, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about what's out there. Don't worry about the NFC North. Don't worry about the rankings or this, that doesn't matter. We have to win. And so all our focus goes into winning and understanding this opponent we're getting ready to face, period. And put all your focus there. And then we'll attack the next challenge when it comes. But right now it's got to be that.
The urgency doesn't.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? My name is Russell Wayne. It's the Villain Report. I'm sorry I had to throw that in there. I'm going to watch the rest of this with you, but I didn't want you to think that you're watching that live. You just happened upon this. My name is Russell Wayne, and this is the Lion Villain Report. And I didn't even realize Dan Campbell was talking. My day's been so busy. I usually do the show in the morning, and I figured I'm watching it for the first time. I might as well watch it with you guys when it comes with that. So, yeah. So let's just continue to watch that, and then we'll get into the show.
Change. I mean, when would the urgency change? Since right now you don't control your own destiny, you got teams ahead of you. Does that just?
Well, here's what I've said. We've had urgency. Yeah, I mean, we're an urgent team. Things haven't gone our way that we would like. I mean, we would love to be sitting here undefeated right now, and that's not the reality. We're not undefeated, right? So, but there's an urgency that's there, and I know this. If you say, "Well, let's wrap up more urgency," that's when you start making mistakes. That's when you start panicking. That's when guys start doing things they shouldn't do. They're trying to make plays, and then they cost us all. That's where bad stuff really happens. So, because that means you don't really believe in what you're doing. You're grasping for straws. I know what we're doing. I know what we need to do. We go back to work. We clean up the little things. All right, we adjust, we adapt, we move on, and let's find a way to get a dub.
Filled the interim coaching role before with Miami. I'm just curious, like, do you tend to see like a bounce in energy or playing free when a team goes through that? Do you anticipate like maybe a different level of energy from these guys this week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there was some fresh energy last week when you watched them against Green Bay. I think sometimes it's just that newness, and you don't know how long that could possibly last or the rebound on it. But I think just the change itself, something a little bit different, a little new, can spark you. And so, yeah, there was a little bit of that. I mean, look, they've always played hard. Like, to me, you watch the tape, these guys have played hard in September, October, early November. But, yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. And there again, they had a chance to beat Green Bay and just couldn't finish it out there.
I think it was a couple weeks ago, you said you kind of shared the big picture with your team in terms of the NFC standing. So, This week you don't? And just say,
yeah, that was post bye. That was like, hey guys, it's a Monday. We're not even getting into the game plan of Minnesota yet. So I just wanted them to see what it is. And by the way, that still stands. What I told them still stands, totally stands. Like, nothing's changed. It really hasn't. It really has not. I mean, I know it's like, but it really hasn't. All of these things can still come down the wire. We're talking about 7 games. So we're good, man.
In the 2 games you've called plays, how have you felt about the usage of David Montgomery? And when you reviewed the film against the Eagles, did you feel like maybe you went away from him in some situations? You could have used him in short yardage, or how'd you feel about how you used him in the Eagles game too?
Well, I'd always like to get David more carries. Always.
Related, Brian Branch was, on the estimated report, he was in no practice today. How big a concern is that? And Terrion's still in concussion protocol.
Yeah, we kind of had to list that because we're doing a walkthrough today, and then it's kind of an estimation. Had we gone on the grass, would they practice? So we're kind of saying, I don't think so. I don't, we probably would have held them back. But I feel okay. Like Branch, I think we're going to be okay. Arnold's still kind of day to day here, so we'll see. But I feel good about Branch, a lot better.
It's changed so much.
Miles Frazier's been back for a little bit now. You said you expected him to look a little bit like a baby fawn when he first got out there, but just how is he acclimating to the NFL speed despite missing so much already?
Better. He's gotten better every week. Yeah, he's and really, I guess last week was week 2, I think. Week and a half, somewhere in there. He adjusts every week. It looks a little bit better. And I would anticipate over these next 2 days of tomorrow and Friday that he's going to look even better. So like where he's going. Looks like he's come back from the injury nicely. And it's just about getting reps and learning and growing. But for where he's at, very much like Mahogany last year. We talked about it, just trying to get him reps, and at some point feel like this guy can do something, then maybe we give him a shot. If he's not ready, he's not ready. That's okay.
You've talked a lot about identity this year. I mean, as you've watched the season play out, I guess an argument can be made that the defense, there's more balance between the two units, defense and offense. And if so, how much does it affect how you approach game strategy?
Well, I love where our defense is at right now. I think these guys I think they're playing their tail off. I think there's a lot of versatility there, man. I think we challenge in all aspects and all areas. And, man, they're playing strong right now. And I love that, and so that'll always give me faith in the fact that they're going to put out the fires. And that's what you want, a defense that is going to put out the fires. So I love it. It's great.
To get DJ, you hope to get DJ back Sunday, and when he does return, you got Terrian back. I mean, Meeks played so well outside. Are you liking the fact of where your talent and depth is at cornerback, down the stretch here?
Yeah, for sure. Because look, Rock's played pretty good too now. Rock's played good. Meeks held his own out there, done a great job. Both of those guys, and to that point, it's look, those things don't go unnoticed. I mean, we know Meeks been playing well, so. If we're able to get Reed going this week, we want to get him in the game, or we wouldn't bring him, and use him. And but we foresee using all those guys. We're not just going to go away from Meek. I mean, there'll be a role for him one way or another. So, but yes, it's a good place to be at, is to start getting some of our guys back, get some depth back, good players back.
You are expecting DJ, or you're hopeful to get DJ back this week?
I'm hopeful. But I think a lot of it'll be determined on tomorrow, like these full speed practices tomorrow and then Friday. He looked pretty good last week, and so we'll see.
The Giants got from the coaching change. What about when Jackson Dart came in? Just, if he plays this week, what does he provide? What does he add to
Well, he does give him a spark. I mean, the guy's, he's kind of an electric player, man. He's got some energy about him. He's tough, plays tough. He's got the ability to run, and he can kind of break some tackles and keeps his eyes downfield. He can make some pretty big throws. So he just kind of brings that and that youthful energy, kind of a little bit of a spark to him that that's unique. You can't let it get on you. But he's intriguing. He's a promising talent. Yep.
There you go. That's Dan Campbell. Dan, come on, Dan. Dan Campbell. Bringing it to you live right there. So welcome welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I got a little bit of late start with here, but I definitely wanted to watch that, and thank you for watching that with me. So welcome to the Villain Report. I am Russell Wayne. I'm the UDFA of sports podcasting. I'm the unwanted, the unfiltered, the unapologetic voice of the fan base that bleeds Honolulu blue. So, all right. So what we're going to talk about today is some unpopular opinions, or some so-called unpopular opinions. We're going to talk a little bit about this Kelvin Sheppard defense, and I'm feeling pretty good about this defense right here. So drop your thoughts in the chat on any of that stuff right there. And this episode is brought to you by fanatics.com. That's right. If you're rocking the 313, and if you bleed that Honolulu blue, hell, if you bleed any of the NFL teams or hockey teams or whatever, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. So here's what you do. You click that QR code or scan that QR code and save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that the fans of your team do it bigger and they do it better. The Villain Squad doesn't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. So get yours. And connect with us as well. That's right. You can connect with the Villain. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and X at this point in time where we're live. If you're a fan of Detroit sports, you should connect. Liking, commenting, and sharing. That helps us get up in the algorithm and, lets us be seen by more people. So we appreciate that if you're doing that. So please, help us get to 100,000 villains on the YouTube right there. Goes, oh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage is ready. He's ready to go back home. He's ready to climb to the top of Ford Field and drop a Macho Man elbow right in the middle of the heart of whatever quarterback wants to step into the ring with the Detroit Lions. Yeah, hit that 1, 2, 3. Yeah, dig it. Yeah. That's right. Welcome, everybody. How y'all doing in there? Who do we got in here today? I know. Oh, my gosh. It's Greg Rice is in the house. Like that? What is up at 4:30? Yeah. Let's see. The Trim Reaper's up in the house, too. You like that? So, and here we are. Like, I have something that I need to get off my chest right here before we start with any of this. Because apparently some people think that they're edgy. Some people think that when the Lions lose the game, right? Every time that the Lions lose a game, here come the folks with this might be an unpopular take, but Jared Goff isn't the blah, 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 blah. Oh, Brad Holmes should have went and got the imaginary superhero free agent that you think fixes everything overnight. Brother, let me help you. That ain't unpopular. That's the most common recycled bargain bin opinion in the entire Detroit sports universe. Every outlet runs the same doom and gloom playlist. Hope is lost. The sky is falling. Fire this guy, that guy. They'll never do this and blah, 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 blah. Congratulations. You didn't break the mold. You are the mold. You want to hear an actual unpopular take? Here it is. Kelvin Sheppard's defense is making a straight up beeline towards elite status. And by the end of the season, they will be elite. Yes, I said it. That's the Villain Report. And guess what? The troops are coming back, healthy bodies, fresh legs, real firepower, and the cavalry ain't on the way. The cavalry just parked its tank right outside the stadium. Now, let me throw a real question to y'all. Would you rather have an elite offense or an elite defense when it's time to win a championship? Because I'll tell you this, that the defense travels. The defense closes games. Defense gets rings. And defense is what kicked our ass on Sunday night. And our defense, even though it went a little unnoticed in the loss, is growing up right in front of our very eyes. And the offense, it's still good enough to score on people. It ain't as good as it was last year, but it's still good enough to hang up points whenever you want. So you can cry if you want. You can panic if you need to. But don't act like you're some kind of pioneer because you stood your ground and criticized the team after a loss. Ooh, yeah. So the question is that I have for you out there is, what would you rather have? Would you rather have an elite offense or would you rather have an elite defense? Because it's really, really looking like this is going to be an elite defense by the end of the year, if it's not there already. We did that with some backup guys. And it isn't just this week. It was this week and last week and the week before that. So there you go. You want to act like you're a hot take out there? That's fine. It's okay to have the opinion. It's okay to criticize the team. I'm never going to give you a hard time for criticizing the team, but don't act like you're a pioneer. Don't act like you're breaking the mold and, oh, yeah, here's something that you just, yeah, we don't want to hear it. We don't. Yeah, Broski Bear's in there. Hey, you know what? It's funny because Lion fans end up, that's why I love Broski on here. And you give me a hard time for that too, but I love Broski on here because Broski's the troll. He's supposed to do that. And Lion fans kind of show their hand and how long they've been watching the team by freaking out after every loss. I understand. We only lost 2 games last year. Anything over 2 games of losing was going to make people freak out, man. I knew that was going to happen. I knew some of the fan base can't handle that. I mean, all you got to do is get into the playoffs. And then you have a chance. Just ask the New York Giants, who were playing this week. The year they made it and won the Super Bowl, I think that they were like a 6 seed. They did it from the bottom seed. That's the beautiful thing about the NFL, guys. You can freak out about the team every week that they lose. That's fine. But the thing is all you got to do is make it into the dance. These teams are so close in talent. And people don't want to hear that. You want to have a definitive answer. I need answers. Oh, I need answers. What's going on? You know, a play here, a play there, and it changes. I mean, the Lions were 0 for 5 on 4th down. They get one of those 4th downs, and that might have been enough to win the game. One of the 4th downs could have been a touchdown. That's how close the games are. So all you got to do is get in, especially with 7 seeds on each side. You get in, you got a shot. We saw how well the 1 seed worked out for us last year. We don't need the bye. It's like the bye, shit, that probably hurts us more than it helps us. Seems like the Lions over the last couple of years have gotten a little complacent on bye weeks. And they come in, and that's where they get the losses. So I don't mind going on the road 3 times. But to me, you know, it seemed like the offense and the defense switched places. And, you know, and if I'll sit up here and acknowledge that, you know, the offense is missing Ben Johnson. And I'll acknowledge that. But now the defense has switched places with the offense. The defense, I believe, is the better unit on the Detroit Lions now. And Broski, no, I'm not looking. I am not looking past the Giants to the Packers on Thanksgiving. I don't do that. I don't do that. I'll say the same thing about the Giants that I did about the Commanders. And that's this, that it is the most important, unimportant game on the schedule. Because it's very important that they go in and they don't lose 2 in a row. They haven't lost 2 in a row in like 3 years. They have to prove that they're going to bounce back every time they have a loss. But the reason I say it's the most important, unimportant game is because the minute that they win the game, I mean, they could win the game 50-0. You know what everybody's going to say that next week leading up to Thanksgiving? Well, they haven't played anybody yet. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just the Giants. So you're in a lose-lose situation. You need to take care of the Giants. You need to take care of the Giants. You have to. You have to take care of the Giants like you took care of the Commanders. We don't need to leave anything questioned out there. It's a great game for you to get back. To get back. To play better on the offensive line. to have that defense take an even another step. I mean, I'm damn impressed. I don't care what anybody said. Like, if everybody wants to doom and gloom all week long, because I try to provide something that's different than everything that's out there in the sports media. And all of sports media, it doesn't matter where it is. It don't matter where it is. It's all negative. It's not a hot take to be negative. It's not a hot take to criticize Jared Goff. It's not a hot take to criticize Brad Holmes. I'm not saying that you shouldn't or should. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying it's not a hot take. Hey guys, I'm going to say some stuff right now. It's going to blow your mind, and it might even ruffle your feathers a little bit. But Jared Goff didn't play good on Sunday. And you should be worried about that. You're not edgy. You're not cool. That doesn't do anything. A hot take is being a homer, actually, at this point. I am being a bit of a homer. I'll admit it. I'll be a bit of a homer because I took encouragement away from the defensive performance on that game. The thing is Jahmyr Gibbs, all the offensive flash and all that stuff, that's not my favorite type of football. I love those guys. I love it when they score touchdowns and it's all exciting. Yay. He did a flip in the end zone. Oh, he shouldn't have he shouldn't have hugged the goalpost, all that. But it's defense. It's defense. I love good defensive games. And while everybody else was criticizing the game, I'm just like, wow, Philadelphia plays some good-ass defense. They got two really, really good defensive tackles that are like awesome. And it sucked that they were doing that against my team. But it was also like watching greatness happen. You're watching them bat down balls and just have high-level games. They earned that win against the Lions. And as much as everybody wants me to freak out about what happened with the offensive line and all this, they're never going to be able to. That was a great defensive performance. It was also a great defensive performance on our side with Kelvin Sheppard and that defense. It's like they held Philadelphia to 16 points, and that's amazing to me considering they were 0 for 5 on fourth down and gave them the ball in our side of the field 5 times. And they only gave up 16 points with 2 backup cornerbacks, a backup safety. That's impressive. Hey, Kelvin Sheppard, how about this? Kelvin Sheppard, you're doing a hell of a job with that defense. How about that? I know nobody wants to hear that, but you can win any game if you're playing good defense. Do you remember when the San Francisco 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers to go to the Super Bowl, where Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball like 6 times? Defense wins championships. That's it. I loved having a good offense last year. Offense is fine until you run into a good defense. And that's true for anybody. Ask Patrick Mahomes. So stop blaming it on gloves and, it's cold weather. It's like, just stop. It's good defense. It's good defense. And here's something that you also have to realize. Whether you're a Bear fan, whether you're a Lion fan, Packer fan, or whoever gets into the playoffs, the Eagles have a real defense. It ain't going to get easier than that. And some magical trade deadline move wasn't going to stop Philly from being that. You want to tell me that we should have traded for an offensive lineman? Well, guess what? Whatever offensive lineman we would have traded for, that was going to happen to. You know why? Because Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are the truth. I think, how would I grade his performance? Aiden Hutchinson's a beast. Aiden Hutchinson's a beast. He demands your attention. He opens up. I mean, even stat-wise, he leads the league in pressures. But the thing that he does the most is he opens up the other players to make plays. And if the Lions would have went out and got Jalen Phillips, or if they would have done something to get some kind of guy there, I mean, I don't know. The defense is fine, broski. That's the thing. Like, yeah, we could get Jalen Phillips, or we could not have Jalen Phillips. The thing is the Lions defense keeps getting better and better throughout the year without signing anybody. Defense is fine. This defense only gave up 16 points. Defense wasn't the problem. And we have so many good players on offense. I'm not that worried about the offense. The offense is good enough to score on anybody. They can score. So, I mean, if you want to freak out, that's fine. I'm not freaking out. I love this team. But it doesn't take much for me to freak out a little bit. I'm going to be taking a tiptoe over to your side of the freak out if they lose to the Giants. That's why I say it's the most unimportant game of the season. So, is this true right here? He has a fractured vertebrae and a dislocated disc. He was spared Sunday. Not sure. I'm not sure about that. I know he's got back issues. And that might be bad. They might have to learn to win without Sam Laporta. That was a huge loss. You know what's really funny is the excuse train goes out there. I remember a couple years ago when the Lions went into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs. And everybody said, wow, you didn't have Travis Kelce. You didn't have, I think Chris Jones was out in that game too. Giving them excuses. And I'm not going to use the excuse. The thing is, you got to learn how to win with Brock Wright if you don't have Sam Laporta. But the Lions didn't have their tight end, Sam Laporta, who's every bit on the level of Travis Kelce. And they didn't have their starting safety or their starting cornerbacks. Doesn't matter. Everybody's injured. You deal with what you have. And I'm watching the opposite happen to the Lions defense this year. That happened last year. Last year, so many guys were getting injured at the end of the season that they couldn't even keep up with the practice squad. They were elevating practice squad guys that got injured. And then you have to get into people off of the street. And once you get into that, where you're really having to teach people a dummy version of the defense, you're kind of dead in the water anyway. And that's why I don't call the Commanders playoff loss a choke job. I mean, a choke job is having everybody and everything go for you and still choking it away. But you have to have a little bit of luck when it comes to winning the Super Bowl. Philadelphia was healthy going into last year's playoffs. And the Lions defense is getting healthy. I mean, they're going to get 6 quality players back. You know, however long it is. You know, I know nobody really believes in Marcus Davenport, but, you know, the 8 snaps that he's out there, he's pretty damn good on those 8 snaps before he gets injured. So choose your snaps wisely. Yeah, that sucks about Laporta. Because, you know, you think about what would have been. I mean, you think of the Lions were 0 for 5 on 4th down. With Sam Laporta, I could almost make a guarantee that the Lions wouldn't have been 0 for 5. That might have been 2 out of 5. But Sam Laporta moves the chains. It's such a huge loss right before that game, and now maybe for the rest of the season. But I haven't heard anything. I'm not reading anything about Sam Laporta. You know, looking through here. Lions Wire. Yeah. I mean, it's 4 weeks right now. 4 weeks is what the injured reserve to return is. They haven't shut him down yet. There's nothing on the internet about him being shut down. And I haven't seen anything about this spinal vertebrae. I haven't heard those words yet. No doctor reports that I can see. And if you do have that article, Duncan, if that's what it is, I would like to have that article, because if there's a real news piece, usually John Macaroon's my guy with that. He's pretty. He actually asked one of the questions on that, a couple questions to Dan, which is kind of cool. But I haven't heard anything about that. Maybe let me see if he's texted me anything. Nope. So I haven't heard anything on that, and it's kind of cool to have an insider right there. I like that. Oh, the Woodward doctor report. Okay. But they have not gotten a diagnosis yet that I've seen out there. And I would think that if that type of definite news came out, Duncan, and I'm not trying to say that didn't happen, but if Laporta, if something big like that would happen to Laporta, I guarantee that it would be, you know, on the first page of any of the top news stories. You know, a lot of people asking questions, you know, Roto Bar, Sam out for the season, injury update. And that's from Roto Bar. Lions Wire. When is Sam Laporta coming back? Sam Laporta coming back? Yeah. Have to see. Yeah. That would be awful to lose him for the rest of the season. Central Scrutinizer said it could be just a bruise. Well, I don't know if a bruise would be something that I would shut him down for 4 weeks over. So it's obviously something a little bit more than that. Hopefully it's not. I mean, it's most likely in between just a bruise and whatever the vertebrae. So, yeah, but you'd have health over everything, man. If they got to shut him down for the season, they got to shut him down, man. Family first. Family first. Man, don't say that name. Don't say that name on here. We're not talking about that guy on this show ever. I've forgotten about that liar guy that says that he started my page. If you're talking about that fraud, Will Rock, the rumor coming through that he says that he started the villain squad. Wow. So yeah, I won't be talking about him no more. But no, I'm not worried at all. Did you miss the first half of the show, Steve? Did you miss the first half of the show? Where I was talking about how the Lions shouldn't worry because Kelvin Sheppard is building an elite defense. And I could see it coming. You can see it coming. I mean, that's what happens when you rise the tide of your ships. You know, when you have good defensive pieces that are all getting better together, and then you hand a guy like Kelvin Sheppard the keys to the defensive kingdom. And that's what happened. Aaron Glenn developed all these guys, man. You got your Jack Campbells, you know, your Brian Branches, and your backups, your depth pieces. You're putting all these guys together. You're teaching them your style of football. And then you handed the keys right as Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph and Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil, all these defensive studs that you have until 2030 are all elevating and leveling their ships up all together at once. It's not a surprise that the defense is starting to bubble over a little bit. You know, the talent is feeling good. And I'm telling you that's why the jury was not out for me on Brad Holmes yet. I still support not going at the trade deadline and getting somebody. For one, I think it's idiotic for me, Russ, a dumbass that doesn't have a brain like Brad Holmes, to be like questioning him in the middle of his move. Because if this defense keeps playing the way that it is, everybody that made all of the edge rusher comments at the beginning of the season are just going to have to apologize or just not live in reality. Because judging by the performance of the defense this year, where you got Muhammad with 6 or 7 sacks, you got, you know, Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes with like 4 or 5 sacks each. It's not just Aiden Hutchinson. And that's what you wanted, right? And they did it without going out and getting a big, sexy name. And the defense is in the top 10. And my hot take, my bold take, my unpopular opinion is that's going to be in the top 5 by the end of the season. That's a hot take. Top 5 defense by the end of the season. That's a hot take. Oh, Jared Goff doesn't play good with gloves on. That is not a hot take. You're not trendy. You're I have some fun with the opposite takes though. That's why I got my wrestler guys. You know? I know some of y'all wanted to call out Brad Holmes or calling out Dan Campbell. And that's what Chris Jericho's for. Baby Chris does that.
Oh, Danny boy. You want to go for him on every fourth down, huh? You want to keep rolling the dice like this is Vegas instead of a football game? Well, do you, Dan? You think every drive's a WWE main event? You think you're invincible because you drink 12 cups of coffee before kickoff? Let me tell you something, man. Analytics don't mean a thing if you're handing the other team field position like you're giving away free t-shirts. Do you know what happens when you turn down 37 fault goals? Huh? When you treat 4th and 7 like it's 2nd and short? You know what happens when you ignore logic, play call like a madman, and take points on the board? Dan Campbell, you just made the list!
Oh, man. Hey, when Chris is mad at you, man, what are you going to do about it? Now, Dan Campbell ended up making his way on the list. Too many 4th down going for it. What are you doing, Dan? Come on. Calling plays like a madman. You know, what are you going to do? And he didn't apologize for it either. We have a madman as a head coach. Now, he did admit that when you got a defense playing good like that, it may not be such madman going forward. But when you got a defense, you know, you can put a lot more trust into your offense because you got that defense. So, some of you side with that side. I'm just not a big fan of, like, you know, forcing my opinion in there, you know? I mean, I have John Madden experience. You know, I'll give some football opinions. But, like, as far as me critiquing and saying you should have did this or you should have did that, I mean, I don't know. I know this is the best Lions team that we've ever seen. I mean, I know that that's true. It's the best defense I've ever seen on a Lions team anyway. It's like when I look at that last game, I'm not like anybody that plays Philly this year, like Broski, when you guys go play Philly, don't take it out on Caleb, okay? He's not going to play good in that game. It's going to be a sludgy, ugly game because that's the way you have to beat Philly. You ain't going to win shootouts against Philly this year. Probably won't happen. It's hard. I mean, if they have all of those guys available, you know, with their Quinyon Mitchells, all those really, really good linebackers, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, I mean, they're both, to me, top 5 defensive tackles in the league. You know, I think the Lions got some good defensive tackles, but I don't think any of our defensive tackles are as good as Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter is special, man. He's like the new, you know, king of the island. And you just got to deal with not scoring a lot of points. They will make good quarterbacks look bad. Made Jordan Love look bad the week before. Oh gosh. Interesting. Tell Dan to kick some field goals. I'll let him know. You know, when you think about his field goal attempts, where they would have been, you know, he turned down one short field goal in that game. And the other fourth downs, one was a punt. And right there, if you want to argue that, I'm not going to push back much on you. Take that short field goal and don't do a fake punt. I mean, I don't mind that one. But as far as kicking 55, 60-yard field goals, because they were on like the 35-yard line, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1. I mean, he could go for those all the time, every time. On the 35-yard line, rather than kick a long field goal, every time. Under, I don't know, did we have a 4th and 7? I feel like we had a 4th and 2, and then there was a penalty, and then we had a 4th and 7, and he went for it again. So I would also not push back much on the people that don't like the ones that are over 4th and 3. But outside of that, go for all of them. You know, 4th and 2, the analytics are on your side. And if your defense is going to play like that, and you're willing to throw your defense in the fire like that, then, you know, go for it. You got the offense to do it. I mean, execute the plays better. You know, you don't have to get all of them, but you got to get some of them. You know, 0 for 5. I mean, that's it. You know, in the 4th down game, when you're doing the 4th down game, it really is all or nothing. It's all or nothing with it. Yeah, I mean, you can't go in there and pick and choose. It's like you're either choosing to be aggressive, where you got to play the numbers and you got to do it, and you got to do it a lot. Anytime that is even a question. One field goal would have been done. One field goal would have been in there. Yeah. Hey, Lee. Leanne Greenfield. One field goal and another touchdown, and we would have won. Yeah. And 1 or 2 conversions on 4th down, and we would have won. So we can play that game on both sides. I mean, that's it. When you're an aggressive team, that's what you are. You got to get some of those 4th downs. You know? And, you know, kicking long field goals, you know, when the wind was playing like that, I don't know. But you can get it. That's the thing. It's like, I want to, like, there is part of me that feels where you're at, Leanne. I do. I feel that. Like, when you don't get the 4th downs, it feels like that. Oh my gosh. But the thing is, when you're playing like that, you sure love it when it works and it goes like that. But you can't be an aggressive team and then just like every once in a while just choose not to be aggressive. You're choosing what you are, and you're all in or you're all out. And I mean, 4th down gamblers, I mean, Dan Campbell's not the first one to do that. He may be doing it at a little bit higher of a level, but Sean Payton won a Super Bowl by being ultra aggressive. I mean, hell, the guy kicked an onside kick coming out of halftime and won the Super Bowl being aggressive. So you can't tell me that it's not a recipe for success. It's not the only recipe for success. There you go. Waymo's got to become more mature. I have no problem with this take at all. For those of you that think that I'm just all soft on the Lions. I have to call a couple people out. I'm not going to call them out by name. But you call me out for only arguing, referee calls and all that stuff when I say that I'm not going to do that. First of all, I don't argue referee calls. I didn't ever once say that the referees cost us the last game. We can go there. The referees did not cost us the last game. And right there, Waymo's penalty was dumb. That was a dumb penalty. Don't tell me that you didn't know the rules when we just paid $28 million a year to know the rules. Know the rules. Don't do that. That's not a bad call by the referee. I'm not saying that you said it was either, Central. But that's not a bad call by the referee. The referee made a bad call at the end of the game. And you know what sucks about the bad call at the end of the game? Is it probably didn't have much bearing on what the outcome would have been. Jared Goff was 0 for 5 on 4th down. He wasn't having a good game. That defensive line was having their way with the Lions offense. So the chances are, without that penalty, they would have punted the ball. The Lions probably would have went 4 and out. And the game would have ended with Jalen Carter standing over the dead body of Jared Goff in the win. But no. Mr. Referee wants to come in and throw a flag and just end it right there. And yeah, why not just put a little bit of controversy at the end there? Make all the soft Lion fans go crazy and blame the refs. Oh, we would have won. Yeah, there would have been a 3% chance that the Lions would have went down there. But the thing is you took that away. You took a beautiful end to the game, because one of two things would have happened. And the first thing that I just mentioned, with Goff laying on his back after 4 more downs, is probably the ending. But the other ending that could have been was the 3% rule, where the Lions would have marched all the way down the field, scored a touchdown. And guess what? Do you think, since we're sitting here talking about Dan Campbell aggressiveness, do you think for 1 second that Dan Campbell would have scored a touchdown and then kicked a extra point for a tie? Do you think that for 1 second? Can you look at me with a straight face like I'm looking at you and tell me that Dan Campbell wouldn't have kicked a 2-point or went for a 2-point to win or lose the game? Now tell me, as a football fan that waited up until midnight to see the ending of that game, even if you're a Lion fan or you're not a Lion fan, that ending would have been better. You didn't have to make that call. It was a bad call. The Lions should have gotten the ball back, and the football fan should have gotten the ending that we deserved for staying up that late for that game. And like I said, the 97% outcome, 97% chance that game would have ended exactly the way that it did, 16-9. It would have just been 4 more downs. Our offense didn't show any signs of moving the ball at any time at the end of that game. You had plenty of chances. Offense didn't play good, and they probably weren't going to play good. But there was that same thing. I can go back to the Houston Texans game, since all the haters like to bring that up as another one of Goff's bad games. And it was a bad game, but guess what? He throws 5 interceptions in that game, and guess what? On the last possession, when he needed to show out, he drove down and put them in position to win the game. So you can't blame the Zebras for winning or losing a game. But what I can, Central, I can blame the Zebras for taking a good ending away from that game. They took a good ending away. Because you probably didn't change the outcome by throwing that flag, but you made a lot of football fans mad. You made a lot of people say stupid stuff like, oh, it's fixed with Vegas and blah, 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 blah. It's all just conspiracy theory BS. So you just ruined a good ending. That's all. A good ending to the game would have been like a sack, right? Oh, clock runs out. You didn't, Don't end it on a flag. Don't end it on a flag. It was just unnecessary. Maybe it is. Maybe they started it just to make a whole bunch of guys like me where I get to talk about it. It's just dumb, though. It's just dumb. Because I love a good football game. That football game was so good. Whether you liked it or not, I'm a defensive guy. I love good defense. When they were playing good defense against us, I didn't go, oh my God, what's going on with the offense? I'm going, that's good defense. Those are two really, really good defensive tackles, man. That's a good player they got from Miami. They got good linebackers. Quinyon Mitchell's a stud. No, I don't like losing, but I love watching good players play. Offense might be more exciting to some people, but I like defense. And I got to see such a great gem of defense on both sides of the ball. The Lions defense is legit, guys. Legit. I mean, what an awesome defense. And now you're going to get reinforcements back. And please put Marcus Davenport on a pitch count. He actually plays pretty good when he's not injured, which is most of the time. But when he does play, he is productive. So just put him on a pitch count. He doesn't need to start. Muhammad took his job. It's okay. Have him come off the bench for 10 snaps a game, 12 snaps. Don't put him out there for 40 snaps. Maybe you can keep Marcus Davenport for the rest of the year. You got Josh Pascal coming back too. So you don't have to have those guys go out there and take big snaps. It isn't like last year where everybody was injured and you need whatever guy to go in there and be there for 50 snaps a game. You got 4 pass rushers that are pretty good, that can do the job. Pascal can do the job. Davenport can do the job. Muhammad's proven that he can do the job. Split it up so they don't get injured. Have a healthy rotation. And then Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed. DJ Reed might be back this week. So I like where we're at defensively, health-wise. Offensively, that's where the work is this year. But the way I see it is the offense and the defense switched places from last year. Last year, the offense was elite. Defense had the injuries, and the offense carried the team to 15-2 record. And then because the defense wasn't there, they got exposed in the playoffs. You know, they gave up 45 points or over 40 points, you know, Goff's got to play a brand of football that is catch up. And that's not, you know, you got to put Goff in the right position to win the game. Sorry to say that, but, you know, he needs some conditions to be right. But now with a good defense, that covers up a lot of bad offensive play. You got Philly fans over there still wanting to call Jalen Hurts the MVP, right? Well, that's because their defense is playing so good, it doesn't matter how their offense is playing. So, there's my popular takes. I'm glad I got some time to do the fake unpopular takes. That era is upon us. Thank you all for joining the show today. And I hope I didn't ruffle too many feathers, but I am letting you know that your fake unpopular takes, oh, it's so unpopular for me to criticize Goff after a loss. It's not unpopular. That's the most popular, overblown, overrun BS takes that are out there. You're going to tell me, oh, Goff played bad. I'm such a good podcaster. I'm going to criticize the team after a loss. Look at me getting out there, really throwing myself out there. If you're really throwing yourself out there, then why won't you talk about this defense? Lions lost the game, and it completely gets lost. That was an elite defensive performance without its best defensive players. Which could translate into a better playoff chance. Because going into the playoffs, I sure as hell would rather have an elite defense than an elite offense. Especially when I know who's on my offense. And if I'm not forcing that offense to be elite, which is, I think, is the mind space that everybody's stuck in. The mind space of, oh, what are we going to do? The offense isn't elite. Well, the offense doesn't need to carry the team anymore. Just remember that. And maybe that's not the take that you wanted. That maybe that's an unpopular take. That's the unpopular take. Is trusting in this team and trusting in this defense after a loss. And I'm standing out here and I'm going to do that. I'm standing on my island. This team is still a Super Bowl contender. And one loss doesn't do that. 1 7-point loss does not take them out of contention. Especially when you can take any one of those fourth downs and you go 50% on your fourth downs, you win that game by 2 touchdowns. So miss me with all that. The defense looks elite. It looks elite. And the defense is going to carry us to the playoffs and further into the playoffs. And we're a Super Bowl contender with this defense if it continues to grow like it is. So this is the Lion Villain Report, and I'm Russell Wayne. And that's my unpopular take of the day right there. Episode brought to you by Fanatics. Right there, use that QR code, save up to 25% off of your order. And remember that every one of those QR code clicks supports the channel and the page and lets the world know that your team does it bigger. Your team does it better. We don't do knockoffs. We do official. The Villain does Fanatics. Get yours. Connect with me. You can do it. You can do it. Liking, commenting, sharing. That's how you help me get up in the algorithm. And what does that mean, Russ? Well, that means I get to reach more football fans with all of my garbage takes. If you're a fan of Detroit sports, you should be following me already. But if you're not following me, well, right there. You find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, wherever you scroll, the villain rolls. It's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football. Spend time with your family. Create memories. Don't let football use you. Don't turn into a dick after we lose. It's okay. Move on. Go hug a puppy. God bless you guys. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Okay, Brad, this is what we're doing now. The Colts and Cowboys are out there building the Avengers, and you want to collect bargain bin Pokemon cards? You want to sign some guy nobody's ever heard of off a practice squad? That's your big move, huh? Do you know what happens when the entire fan base is sitting around refreshing their phones like it's Black Friday, waiting for anything from you? Huh, Bradley? Do ya? Do you know what happens when you let the moment pass? When you let the league party without you and you sign a player whose Madden rating is NA? Bradley Holmes!
You just made the list!